learning about notes. Our notes are over operations on functions. So operations on functions is just basically your basic math operations. So when we're teaching, we're going over addition, because that just means that's what sum means. We're talking about difference, which is subtraction. We're talking about how to find the product of two numbers. That's just multiplication. And we're talking about quotient, which is just division. Okay? And then our new one is called composite. A composite is when you compose two functions together. Essentially what a composite means is that you're taking one function and you're plugging it into another function as its x value. Okay? And so that's what composite is. Essentially a lot of substitution. Okay? So addition and subtraction, or sum and difference, are pretty much the same thing. It's the exact same process. However, subtraction you have to be a little more careful with. So we're going to go through subtraction first, and then hopefully at the end we'll get to the addition part. Okay? So with subtraction, note here when you're subtracting something, if there's multiple terms, that means you have to change both terms, right? Like I'm not just going to make one term negative and the other term stays positive or unchanged. So I'm going to plug in what this has. This means I'm taking f of x, minusing it from, well, subtracting g of x from f of x, right? That's what it says at the top. So you have two ways of writing it. You can write it vertically or you can write it horizontally. So vertically means I'm just going to stack the functions, and horizontally means I'm going to put them side by side. So vertically, I can write f of x minus g of x. So I can write x squared minus 3x plus 2 minus 2x minus 4. And I did not put that 4 very close to that 2, so I'm going to... Okay? Notice I use parentheses. I use parentheses because I am subtracting. And what parentheses helps me do is remember that I need to change everything. Okay? So I'm going to take my minus and I'm going to put it in here. So that instead of a positive 2, this is going to be a negative. And instead of a negative 4, this is going to be a positive 4. And now I can just add vertically. So x squared plus nothing is negative 3x plus negative 2x is negative 5. And 2 plus 4 is, so my answer is simple. That's it.
Sure.
I'm absolutely positive.
Is it going to be harder?
I don't think so.
Why does it? Oh, because since it's negative.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
How do we feel about it?
It's going to get harder.
It's not. Well, addition and subtraction is not. Okay. So we're gonna do the addition one. We're gonna do it over here because I forgot to put it on here. So addition, saying if I take f of x and I add it to g of x, what'll happen? Again, you either can go vertically or you can go horizontally. So here, if I choose to go vertically again, it will be x squared minus 3x plus 2 plus 2x minus 4. Why did I not use parentheses?
Because you don't have to.
Because I'm not subtracting, so I have no negative sign to distribute, right? So now I just add up and down. So x squared plus nothing is?
X squared.
Negative 3x plus 2x is?
Negative x.
Negative x. And positive 2 plus negative 4 is?
Negative 2.
Negative 2. That's adding and subtracting. How do we feel about adding and subtracting? Okay? Alright, so now we're going to go on to multiplication. When you have two variables next to each other, that means I am multiplying them. There's two ways you can multiply. Multiplication method number 1 is distribution. You just put them side by side and you distribute, kind of like FOIL, right? Or method number 2 is the box method, which helps keep your information more organized. So I look at my functions. How many terms does this one have?
3.
How many terms does this one have?
2.
So I need to make a 3 by 2 box. So when I make a 3 by 2 box, I'm now going to put my terms. So this is x squared minus 3x plus 2, and this is 2x minus 4. So just like the Punnett squares in biology, we're essentially multiplying. We're combining bottom to top. Well, side to top, I'm sorry. So I have 2x times x squared is?
2x squared.
2x cubed. There we go. I have 2x times negative 3x is?
Negative 6x squared.
Beautiful. I have 2x times 2.
4x.
I have negative 4 times x squared.
Negative 4x squared.
I have negative 4 times negative 3x.
Negative 12.
Positive 12, because a negative times a negative is a?
Positive.
I have negative 4 times 2.
Negative 8.
Okay? So to find my answer, all I have to do is combine like terms. Does 2x cubed have anyone to combine with?
No.
So it's just 2x cubed. Does negative 4x squared? So negative 4x squared plus negative 6x squared is?
Negative 10x squared. Negative 10x squared.
Those are done. I have 12x and 4x, which gives me?
16.
And then does negative 8 have anyone to combine with? And that is your answer. How do we feel about multiplication? Yari.
Do we reduce?
Nope. You leave it just like that. You do not factor it. Because if I factor it, I'm going to go back to what I started with.
No, I meant by like taking those common.
Like how you can take a 2 out of everyone.
That'll take me back to where I started.
Will there be any more variables? Like if I get to the test, will it be a G and H? Or is it gonna be-
Yeah, the variables can be called anything.
No, I mean like, are there gonna be more than 2?
Oh, like, will I have f of g minus, an f of x minus g of x minus h of x? Potentially. But not with multiplication. If it's with multiplication, you do 2 at a time. Just like numbers, you only multiply 2 numbers at a time. You will multiply 2 functions at a time. Got it? Any questions about multiplication? How do we feel? Good?
Basically, when it's like that, you just do f of x times g of x.
Mm-hmm. And you either could do FOIL or box.
And then on the next one, you do f of x divided by g of x.
Exactly. Now, the next one. How many of you guys did not like factoring? Okay? Factoring is the easiest way to do division. However, if you're not a fan of factoring, we are going to go over how to do long division. Okay? So for factoring, first, just to clarify that this means f of x over g of x. We agree?
Yes.
Because it says f divided by g. Okay? So I'm going to write it just as so. So what is f of x? X what?
X squared minus 3x
Plus 2? Over
2x
2x minus 4. Remember when you're dividing functions, that means you need to factor everything out. So I need to factor, how would I factor my numerator?
Mental.
Mental math. So what multiplies to give me a positive 2, but adds to give me a negative 3?
Negative 1 and negative 2.
A negative 1 and a negative 2. So that's factored. Now on the bottom, how can I factor that? GCF. So I'm going to take out a 2. So I'm going to divide both terms by 2. And I'm left with x minus 2. Now what am I left with? I can eliminate, right?
You can eliminate your x minus 2.
And so my answer is, and that would be my answer. So that's division with factoring. It's easy, right?
Yes.
Okay, now, if you're one of those poor people who get so upset with me because of factoring, there is division. The main thing with division is to first make sure that your denominator is factored. The only thing you have to make sure is your denominator not factored, but the greatest common factor is removed. So when I look here, is my greatest common factor removed?
No.
No. So I would have to remove it first. When I came to Texas, I learned division like this. This is the cowboy, and this is the horse. And the cowboy goes in the house, and the cowboy goes in the house, and the horse stays outside. And I was like, what? Okay. Yes, Ashley? So the cowboy rides the horse. The horse does not ride the cowboy. I just want to make sure we understand that. Okay? So the cowboy rides the horse, and at night, the cowboy goes in the house to sleep, and the horse stays outside to sleep. I know outside could be a barn, but just for the sake of it, it's outside. Okay? All right, so same thing with functions. So before I do this, I have to make sure that my outside GCF is removed. So when I had 2x, what is going on my board? Sorry. Minus 4. When I take out the GCF, I'm left with 2 times x minus 2. Okay? So I'm going to save my GCF to the end, and I'm only going to use the what's remaining from the GCF. That's what's going to go on the outside. Okay? So I'm going to put x minus 2 on the outside, and what goes on the inside?
All the
Okay? Do y'all remember long division? Like if I had a number 3, 27, 15. Okay? My goal is, can 3 go into 2?
Yeah, we know.
No. Can 3 go into 27?
yes.
Yes. How many times? 9. I get 27. I subtract. I'm left with 0. Bring down 1. Can it go into 1?
No.
No. Bring down the 5. Can it go into 15?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay? Remember long division? Okay, same concept here. Okay? So here you're only focused on the leading term. So how can x become x squared? Multiply by what? Multiply by x. So x times x is what I do to one term, I have to do to the other. So negative 2 times x is
That is not right.
negative 2x, right?
What? That's not right over there.
Yeah, 95 is not right.
It's 905.
Yeah.
Oh, I skipped a number. Thank you. Good job, guys. Huh? I low siento. That's why I keep you around. Okay. Do we understand what happened here? Because x times x is x squared, and negative 2 times x is negative 2x, right? Now, once we did that over here, what did we do? What was the magic thing we did? Subtracted. When you're subtracting 2 terms, that essentially means it's changing the sign.
Yeah.
So instead of this being positive, it's going to become a. Instead of this being positive, negative, this is going to become a
Next problem.
positive.
Oh.
It gets faster. I'm making you appreciate factoring a lot more, aren't I?
You're making this harder than it should be.
Yeah.
I won't
I'm not writing that one.
by the time-
I'm making you appreciate this factoring business over here.
You're making it harder than it should be.
Okay? How can I make x into negative x? We're going to finish it. It's almost done. Negative what?
Negative 1.
So I'm going to multiply by a negative 1. So this is going to become negative x, and this is going to become positive 2. And when I change the sign of everything, what happened? Cancels out. So my numerator is x minus 1, and what was my GCF?
2.
So,
Not factoring makes no sense. Division.
Just the rest of it.
So who do we appreciate now?
Division.
Factoring.
Division.
We like factoring.
Division.
Factoring is our friend. Okay? So are we going to complain about factoring anymore?
Yes.
Thank you, Ashley. Thank you.
We love you, factory.
We don't.
All right, so that's that method.
That just took too much time.
It took time because I had to explain it verbatim, but if I'm going through emotion, I wouldn't have said anything to you and it would have been done. All right, now we're going to go into D, this lovely little thing called composing. When you're composing 2 functions, it just means that you're substituting in a function for x. So where x used to be is now a whole function. So this would say f of g of x. So wherever x was, I'm going to put the entire g of x. So this is telling me that x equals, what's g of x?
2x minus 4.
So wherever x is, I'm putting in 2x minus 4. So we're going to write our original f of x, just so we know what we're starting off with. And what's our original f of x again?
X squared minus 3x plus.
Okay, so we have x squared minus 3x plus 2. So now when I do composing, I'm going to have f of x, but instead of x, I'm plugging in 2x minus 4.
Yeah.
All right, so instead of this just being x squared, what did it become?
2x minus 4 squared.
4 squared.
Instead of this just being 3 times x now is what?
Okay, I get it.
Are you on the boat now? Ash?
Yes.
And now at this point, all I do is simplify.
So long.
Yeah, distributing is part of simplifying. So here, how would I do this one?
You foil.
Foil. I would have to foil because this is 2x minus 4 times 2x minus 4. Correct? So 2x times 2x is?
He roasted.
2x times negative 4 is? Negative 4 times. And then negative 4 times negative 4 is? So that one's done. Now what am I going to do here?
Hold on.
Combine that first.
Distribute. I'm going to combine at the end.
Oh, okay.
Wait.
Negative 3. Yes, Miles.
Oh, never mind. I was talking
Negative 3 times 2x is?
Negative 6.
Perfect. Negative 3 times negative 4 is? And then this 2 have just tags on. So now I just have this horizontal problem here, a function here, and so I need to combine like terms. Does 4x squared have a friend? Okay, 4x squared is done. Does 8x, negative 8x have a friend? 1 here, here. So negative 8x plus negative 8x is negative 16x. Negative 16x plus negative 6x is
Negative 22x.
negative 22x. So I'm done with these guys and these guys. And all I'm left with are my,
20.
so I have 16 plus 12 plus 2.
Oh, this is 12.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's that?
That's a good.
40.
That's a good
Number.
30. And that is how you compose function.
I can't count this.
Okay.
How do we feel about composites?
All right.
Are they okay?
They're
Oh,
amazing.
backside.
All right. The back side is your practice side.
Terrible.
Okay. So really
I gotta
quick,
bring graphs into this.
huh?
Why do you gotta bring graphs into this?
We're gonna get to the graphs. So I want oh, well, this is where it gets harder. How many of you do not like fractions? Remember our rational time together? Well, fractions are back.
Tired of this.
This is a yes.
Why is it every time we do a practice, they're like simple, and then when we gotta do one on our own, you have to make it a fraction?
Because fractions is where you struggle. So I want to make sure that you can do it. If I can
If you
build
wanna
your
make sure that
confidence
we can do
before.
I
Yeah, if you wanna make sure we should do it, you should still give us some
This
baby
one
problems.
makes me-
No, I build your confidence.
No,
I'm too good at confidence with that, and then
That doesn't build our confidence, that destroys
How
it.
about we set them up together?
I had confidence.
Can we set them up together?
This is what makes me cheat.
Can you just set up
All right, we're gonna set up the first one together. So setting up the first one is saying I'm gonna take F and I'm gonna add it to G. So I have 4 over X plus 2X over X minus 4. I have 2 options. I can do the chopsticks in a bowl,
Yes.
correct? Or just find common denominators. And what's the common denominator?
Oh.
X minus
Just like a little-
X minus 4.
That's my common denominator, right? So what is this one missing?
Freaking X minus 4.
And what is this one missing?
Nothing.
X.
So now I have 4 plus
2x squared.
combine, well, rearrange. What's my leading term? 2x squared?
Yes.
2x squared plus 4x minus 16 x times x minus 4.
Let's see, that was the
You set us up to fail.
How did I say you up to fail? You did this for 2 weeks.
Sure, guy.
It hurts our head.
And look what
All
I
right.
made in your class.
Okay? Now, technically you're not done because could I possibly reduce this?
Nope.
Oh,
See, this is why you set us up to fail.
This is what I'm talking about.
I could. Why, Yari? I can cab, but before I cab, I should do what?
Take out the 2.
I should take out the 2, and now it becomes mental math.
That hurts my head even more.
Look at your genius.
Now it becomes mental, so I can take out that 2, and I get x squared
Plus 2x plus 8.
minus 8.
Oh, minus 8.
So what multiplies to give me negative 8, but adds to give me 2x?
Nothing.
What?
Huh? So x minus.
Alright.
So this can become 2 times x minus 4, or plus 4.
There's not enough space on my feet.
Okay.
Can I reduce anything?
No.
That's my answer.
Well, you could have left it how it was in the first place.
But we weren't sure if I could reduce, so we had to check.
Check.
It's an x
Yeah.
minus.
But if it was,
If it was, then I could.
That should help.
We're combining everything we've learned together.
I don't learn.
See how I build on top of it? Because what did you say you did earlier, Ashley?
That's what Ashley said.
Yes. Yes.
Building on her-
You only help us with the easy ones. Now you're gonna make us do the hard ones on our own.
We'll do them all together, so y'all won't be mad at me. Here we go. B. So I'm going to set up B. So this is multiplication, right? So now I'm going to have what's F again?
4 over x.
Wait, come out. It says f of x is 4 over x, but there is no x.
We're getting it easy. What is that?
That's what
One.
it
There's
is.
no
Oh,
x.
good job, Kobe. We're writing it out first. So 4 over x times 2x over x minus 4. That's what would it be, right? If this was a x. But what is x now? 1. So wherever x is, I'm going to plug in a 1.
I was just lost with the one.
So it becomes 4 over 1 times 2 times 1
Why is x 1?
over 1 minus 4. It's just the value they decided to make it. Now I just multiply straight across, right? What's 4 times 2? Okay, and what's 1 times negative 3?
What's in the parentheses?
I get a 12.
Huh?
What's in the parentheses?
Which one, babe?
A 1.
A 1?
Oh.
Now was that so bad?
This was
Yeah.
the
I was just lost with the 1 part.
How do you know that x is
Well,
1?
I think we got
It says it right here.
because it was a 1. If it wasn't a 1.
So if it doesn't have an x there, right? Because it doesn't have an x there, that means that x equals 1. So wherever x is,
It was only easy because it was a 1, but if it was like a negative 2 over 5, we would have been struggling.
Yeah, give us a fraction.
Ashley, what's 2 times negative 2 over 5? What is it, Ashley? Come on.
Let's just go on.
I know you can do it.
I know.
What's 2 times negative 2? Negative 4. And what's 1 times 5? So my answer is
Negative 4 over 5.
yay!
The 5 is negative.
It doesn't matter when you have a fraction where the negative goes.
Yes, it does. When you divide a negative by a negative, it should be a positive.
I think you just.
But it didn't have a negative.
I thought I heard you say negative 5.
f of g of x.
No. Alright, composing. What does composing mean
F of
again?
g of x.
So this one means that I am going to take G and plug it into F. So I'm going to take G and it's going to become F's new X. So instead of F of X, it's F of what?
G of x.
And what is G of X?
2x over
2x.
x minus
2X over X minus 4. Did we learn about double deckers?
No. Yes, we did.
Yes, we did.
4. Double decker.
I don't like them.
Get it down.
I don't like them.
Okay? Alright, so I'm going to put 4 over
2x
What?
x minus 4.
2X over X minus 4.
Where did you get
I did it
4
right.
from?
What is the function of F of X? Isn't it 4 over X?
Yeah, but you put 4 over.
Dang, we got 5 minutes.
Because what are we plugging in for X?
Exactly.
So instead of putting X, we have to put
Alright.
2X over X minus 4.
that one's double decker.
Yes, because it's a fraction within a
I never got this.
fraction.
I
All
wasn't
right,
here.
so let's do it. Here we go. So, is my numerator ready to go?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm going to keep my numerator because this is division. So I keep, change, flip. So keep, and let's write that as a fraction. So 4 over 1. So I'll keep it. And what am I going to change the division into?
Multiply.
Multiplication. So I kept, change, and I'm going to flip this. So when I flip it, it's going to become
X minus 4 over
X minus 4 over 2x.
2x. Remember, we don't divide fractions. We multiply by the reciprocal. Exactly. Now you just multiply straight across. But before I can do that, can I reduce somewhere?
No.
Yes, you can.
No.
Can we
No.
reduce
Those twos, I mean, that can
No.
become a 2 and that can become an X.
And this is going to become,
A 2.
now I just multiply straight up. So I have 2.
Minus 8.
I'm going to write that. I'm trying to do step by step. But you're right. And then I can keep going. And that gives me what?
Can we reduce later?
Never mind.
Yes, you can reduce in the end. Yes, you do not have to reduce in the beginning.
Is that a 14?
It's a 4.
I'm tripping. I need glasses.
It's okay. All right, and then our last but not least is now instead of plugging G into F, we're plugging what?
F into GG.
F into G. So G is now going to become 4 over X. So wherever X is, I'm going to put 4 over X. All right. I don't remember G off the top of my head. Here we go.
2x.
So it's going to become 2 times 4 over X over 4 over X minus, is it okay if I write 4 over 1?
I guess.
That would make you happy.
It makes me very happy.
But it doesn't make us happy.
Okay, so remember we're going to keep, change, flip. So I'm going to simplify this and keep it. So what's 2 times 4 over X?
8x.
8 over. So I'm going to keep that. Instead of division, it's going to become multiplication. And then I'm going to simplify this first and then flip it. So what's my GCF? 1x, right? So this one's good to go. What is this one missing? When I do the bottom, I have to do to the. So this becomes 4 minus over x. So if I'm going to flip it, it's going to become what? Beautiful. And what can I do now? I can reduce some stuff, right? What can I reduce?
The 8.
Oh, no, yeah, makes sense. And what?
A 4.
And so the 4s can become 1s, right?
Yeah.
Why is that?
Because 4 and 8 have a GCF. 4 divided by 4 is 1, and 8 divided by 4 is 2. Is Kayla asleep?
You bored her to sleep.
So I have 2 over 1 minus
Which graph will we get?
x.
And my head hurts. Bailed out time.
Yeah.
Okay?
Is 1 minus x and x minus 1 the same thing?
What is this
Is
graph
what?
do to
1 minus x and x minus 1 the same thing?
No, they're not.
Is negative x plus 1 the same thing as 1 minus x?
It's negative x plus 1. There you go. Those are the same.
I'm gonna actually go home and try your classwork.
This?
Huh?
If I can't get it,
All right. So tomorrow we're gonna do the graph. I want, as your bell ringer tomorrow, I want to see if you can decipher what to do with the graph.
no, I'm doing classwork. You can't get both out of me.
Come at age. Is that
You either get the classwork or